The art of tipping. Every day people use a form of payment called tipping. Tipping is a way to reward people for doing a good job in exchange for them providing a service. In today's society, tipping is very common and is considered a very proper thing to do. If someone tips below the recommended amount, they are looked upon in a disgusted way. However, one of the main reasons for a poor tip is that many people do not know what a proper tip is. For instance, if you order food and request a restaurant to deliver it, most people feel that they don't have to tip much because there's not much service involved. However, most delivery drivers work strictly on tips and pay for their own gas. Also, they have to pay for mileage on their cars, their tires, their car maintenance, and car wear and tear. Plus, they still need money left over to earn a living. So when deciding on a proper tip, here are a few suggestions. First off, you have the convenience of eating at your home. Plus, consider how difficult it may be for the driver to get to your house due to weather conditions and how much money they might have to spend on gas. Also, take in consideration that the amount of time it takes for the delivery driver to get to you is due to the restaurant being very busy. As a result, delivery drivers should not be penalized. Besides, delivery services, the most common place to tip is when someone eats at a restaurant. Servers, for the most part, survive on tips as their only source of income. As a server, they must pay taxes on their tips as well as share their tips with other staff, which can consist of busboys, bartenders, hostess, dessert, and garnish people, barbacks, dishwashers, etc. So make sure after all the tipping hours is done, they still have a decent amount. Now, most importantly, take into consideration how well the server served you. There are a couple points to examine: the attitude, the promptness, error in the order taken, how comfortable you felt with who was serving you. The recommended tipping amount is 15 to 20%. If the service was exceptional, feel free to tip more. Another key to tipping is take into consideration how long you've been sitting at the table and how many times you have ordered your server around. If you're having a meeting with a few people and sit for an extra hour above what an ordinary meal would take, you should tip double the recommended amount or more. Remember, while you're sitting at the table for a long time, there could have been other tipping customers who could have sat at those tables. Also, when tipping, if you are a big party, your server and the staff are working much harder than if a couple were eating. If a server is not doing an excellent job, you should not penalize their staff. In this situation, speak to the manager and tell them about your negative experience and let them know how you still want the staff to make the money they deserve, so give the manager the tip. Also, when tipping other people who do service work, remember that oftentimes tipping is the only way they make a living. So once again, tip generously. But most important, remember, if you insist on leaving a bad tip, make sure it's not a place you go often.